Okay, we're going to try to patch this speaker a little bit. I'm using the Aleene's original tacky glue, and you can use like Elmer's glue if you'd like. And if I bump the camera, I'm sorry. I'm having to straddle it. This is pretty thick, so we're going to thin it a little bit. Let me get me a Q-tip. Cut the end off. We'll call this a stirrer. A stirrer. We'll just use a little bit of water. And it's like mixing dough. You can always add a little more of each. If it gets too thin, add a little flour. I don't know, we'll see. Yeah, it's going to be a little thin. Let me pour a little bit of this off. Still a little bit thin. Help to get on, wouldn't it? On camera. Yeah, but big thing is I did one that was actually half. It was half the cone. I just did it to see if I could do it, and it sounded okay. It really needed reconing. But I've thinned it down quite a bit. You can see the consistency of it. So, what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and try to get this place right here. Okay? We'll work on this one. This is a little later, but let's go get this one first. What I like to do is take a coffee filter, and let's see how far we extend. We go from here to here, so we're going to need one about this long, about the width of this, and I always tear. Tear a piece. And let's see. Never cut it. You want irregular edges. There's method to his madness. That look all right to you? Let's see how far up in here does that go. Yeah, we'll do this. Now, let's do this number. Can you see those little fibers? We'll try to extend those as much as we can. Know what I do. I must have ate my brush. I had a brush. Let me find my brush. It was right in front of me. So what I like to do sometimes is to go ahead and just stick this in here. Get some already on it. like this. Just put it on there. And I can see my glue is still a little thick. That will get us a little bit on the, this may be a little thin too. One of the things this glue has a tendency to do when it dries, it pulls everything tight. I'll have to move around. Now that little hole right there, we'll put a dot on that. Looks like we may have to do some more up in here too. There you get the idea. You don't want to get too wet, but you don't want to get too thick either. You want it to bond, and those little fibers will stick and will hold that, and I'm probably in your way. May not look the best in the world, but it'll make a good patch. And when it dries, it'll stretch it tighter. Don't try to do too much of it at a time. Try to get the bad thing is you can't, we might be able to do here. Get some of the air out of it here in the groove. Of course, some of it's in mid-air there, so because the cone is collapsed, like right there. Alright, I think it's going to be fine there. And we will take and just put us a dot right there. for that little hole. I could have probably extended that down and made that work. But this shows you how to just make where somebody's poked one single hole in it to do that. And we'll want to go up in here where it's cracking, and definitely right in here a little later. I probably won't do it on camera, but I'll come back when I get done. I'm going to let this dry a little bit before I do this. I took and put a few drops on from the back into there. Just make sure we get some glue down in there. There's the patch. It's dried, it's pretty good. I want to align the radio, but I'm going to go back and do a little bit of cleanup of the chassis. I didn't clean it up or anything, especially the tuning condenser. So I'm going to just basically disconnect it and go through there and just clean it up. It doesn't look like any rust on the chassis or anything like that, so I'm just going to clean it up and then do an alignment on it. I've cleaned the chassis up a little bit, replaced a couple of the grid wires. They were kind of broken and cracking. I didn't change this one for a couple of reasons. Number one, it looks pretty good. Also, it goes into the IF can, which this is not bolted on, it's soldered on, so unless there's a real issue with this, I'm not going to mess with it. So I've cleaned that up. Now we're going to do an alignment. And so I'm setting things up here, and what it says is that we connect through a 0.5 microfarad capacitor for a dummy antenna. We'll have the input signal frequency at 455, and we've got the dial set at 600 kilohertz. I've set it, even though I don't have the dial on there, I've got it on 600. And we've got to adjust C8, C9, C10, and C11. This is adjusting the IF. And so those are C8 and C9, C10, and C11. So these right here. And so let's see, let's turn, I'm gonna do something a little different. We'll go old school with an analog meter and try that and see how that works for us. Try to get this where I can get all of it in, perhaps. Just barely can hear it. I don't know if you can hear that or not. We'll see if we can get any more out of this. And right now, I don't see any indication on my meter, so I may have to go digital. But let's see. What did it say? 9. I'm going to go in the order they said. 8 and 9. So 8 is this one. Well, at least I can hear it anyway, huh? Let's go 9, see. You may want to, I'm seeing some indication on the meter. I've got it down as low as it'll go. So let's go over here. Oh yeah. I guess it needed a little alignment. Let's reduce this. Okay, what I intend to do is not do all this on camera, so you don't have to listen to it. I could mute it, I guess, but what I'm planning on doing is going back and touching all these up. I didn't show that in another video, but what you want to do is you want to go back and do these several times to make sure you get the absolute peak on that. So I'll bring you back when I get that done. I went back through this about 3 times and got a little more each time. Now here's another tip that I don't know if everybody tells you this when you're aligning. When you're tightening or loosening the capacitor, the tuning capacitor in the IFs, you want to reach that peak on the tightening, not on the loosening. Now you're saying that doesn't make sense. Well, you can get the peak on the loosening, but you want to go past that and then go back so that there's not any slop in it. If you're loosening, it could pop up later, but if you're tightening, it's mashing it and compressing it. So you'll want to get your peak on the compression, not the relaxing of it. I hope that makes a little sense. Okay, let's go to the next step. Let's see. It says put a 200 microfarad, 200 picofarad, and run it up to 1600, and then we'll do C12, which is the front of the you can't even see it over here, the front of the tuning condenser, and that's the oscillator to the dial scale. And since we don't have that on there, I don't know that we can really do that, but we'll have to do that a little later when I get the dial back on there. And let's see, then we go to 1400 with the same dummy antenna, and then we hit C13, which is the rear one, which is the antenna stage. And so without the dial on there, I don't know that we can do it. What I'll do is when we get the dial on, we'll go back and do that stage of it. I've got the face on, haven't got it restrung yet. That's what we're going to do now. But what I did is I turned the volume control and the power off. Of course, it's disconnected, but this little lever here that makes it turn it on it sets in this notch, so that when we turn that, and then it comes on and off there. So, and then there's 3 screws. Remember, this one, and this one here, and there we go. Looking at the string and the winding procedure, this one is okay. We're going to leave it alone. It doesn't look frayed or anything like that. We're just going to leave it alone. So it's wound on there. Now the way this one is wound, as you can see, we talked about this. There's the spring that attaches in one of these holes. It goes, both strings are attached here to that spring. One goes this way and goes into this hole. Maybe you can see that. The other one goes this way, goes through that hole, and then it goes up to this point and circles around this little knob, or this little pin right there. Maybe you can see that there. And if you look at this string that came with it, you can see the loop the way it was. So I think, And if you look really close, I think I showed you before, but we'll look again. Get some light on it, maybe get a little. There's little grommets that the dial string is tied to. Now, each end is tied there. And of course that spring gives the tension to both of those strings. So what I'm going to do, I may do this off camera because I'm going to attempt to take those off and tie one of the end of a dial cord on one, and then go and loop it and come back and then cut my string and put the other one on here, and then get that length about right so that there'll be tension on it. Okay, I'll bring you back when I've either lost these to the floor monster or have a little progress. I have removed one of the little grommets, and you can see how small it is. Now this is called lassoing the grommet, and I can't do it through the lens of the camera, so I'm going to try to do it. Now if I pull this the wrong way, I'm trying get the knot right in. There's a little groove there. Right there. I want that knot in there. Now if I get that there, that's fine and dandy. If it's not, what my greatest fear is when I go to pull this tight, that this little grommet is going to go into orbit and I will never see it again. However, I think I have a little grommet kit that I've built these dial cords before, and so I'm trying to keep you on camera, and my goal is to get that extremely tight, especially the first one, without fraying the cord or losing the grommet. And I'm going to try to get one more knot on it and keep you on camera. Thusly, every time I say that, I think of the Three Stooges. Thusly, when they're doing the whipped cream, or the fountain pen and whipped cream. I grew up with the Three Stooges. Wonder I'm not in prison slapping and, you know, they talk about violence and things, but we grew up with cowboys, engines, and stuff like that. And Three Stooges slapping people around. Nobody ends up slapping each other. We always played like we did back in the day, but nobody ever did. All right. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a drop of some super glue on that to try to make sure that it stays. A little late if I ain't got it on camera. I was looking to see if I had it on camera. All right. I think we could probably just tie a loop and put that on that spring, but I think the purpose of that grommet is so that the spring doesn't cut into the dial cord. All right, I got both ends on this spring. This is the second attempt at it. I cut the first string too short, and I haven't tried this one, so it looks like it's a little better or so. Got to make sure, get these on here, and one thing I learned is trying to take the string back off the grommets. The glue held really, really good. So I'm not sure this is going to work either, but we're going to try it. May be too short in here. Strings may be too short again. They're on. No, they're not. I may have cut them too short again. A lot of this may be cut. Because this may be bad footage to start with. I really think those strings ought to be inside there. And I'm afraid I got this one too short also. Well, back to the drawing board. Third attempt now. I've gotten it too short two times. So now I'm starting out with an extra amount of string. I've got this particular one here. It needs to be stretched a little more. We'll say about here. And then I'll bring this around and tie this approximately the same up in here. Each time I did it, it was a little bit too short. So I'm going to do it this way. I started out with, first piece of string was too short. The second piece I made a little longer and put it in there. It was still too short. So starting out with it too long and going from here. That's, I think, a better approach. Okay, that seemed to have worked for me. I've got extra string. I didn't dare cut that till I made sure. If you'll look at the drawing, there's our little loop over here. Goes over here, and then each string comes in here and attaches to this spring, which goes all the way up to here. So goes from one side to the other. It was a little slippage there for a while, and then I lubricated the tuning condenser, and then I got oil on the string. Had to clean that off, but I think that's going to work. I didn't glue this one yet because that glue and that string is really hard to get out of those grommets, which is a good thing. You don't want it to come out. But I had to string this 3 times to get the length of all this correct here. So I think I'm going to put some glue on this, clip this off, and then put this face on, and then finish the calibration of it, or the alignment. Calibration, alignment, same thing. All right, face is on. I cleaned it up a little bit, cleaned this up a little bit, and that pointer is sharp. The dial is not that great. It's kind of dull. I look and see if there's a reproduction out there, and there's not. But I think that's going to work. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and I'll check the IF. The IF should be good, but I'm going to put it here on 600 and check the IFs the way I did earlier, and then I'll bring you back when we get ready to do the oscillator and the antenna to make sure we've got it aligned good. Okay, went back, touched that up, made sure that was still good on the IFs, and now it says now I've hooked up a dummy antenna on the a 200 picofarad capacitor in my signal line, and I've turned it to 1600 kilohertz, and I've got my signal generator set at 16 kilohertz, and now I've got to turn C12, which is the front of the tuning condenser, for peak, and we'll see what we can get here. That sets the dial. Let me turn it up a little bit so I can get a reading over here to maximize. Now that's loosening it, and I'm going to get the peak on the compression part of it. See, when you take your hand off it, just the pressure of it changes it. It's real touchy. I think that's it. Now we turn it back to 1400, I believe. Try to get that lined up best we can there. And then we turn C13, which is the back one, is the antenna one. Oh, I guess I need to turn the signal generator to 13 or to 1400. It's pretty close there already. Let's see what we got here. I want it on the compression. Okay. I believe that's it. I believe we've got it aligned now. All right, let's try to play it. Let me hook everything back up. I'm going to have to clean these knobs up a little bit. I took and filed this one down and got that kind of straight, and I've glued this brass piece back on. It's still setting, so I'm not using it. I'm just sitting it over here. Let's listen to the radio. It's night time.
This is Mike Armstrong.
That's the right amount of chocolatey goodness.
Shame.
You gotta click more butts. That's the ticket, Lisa.
I really...
Next problem. Jordan Walker in the 7-hole here, 1 for 3 tonight.
All right. Oh, I think we've got this done. Working on the knobs. We've got to put it back in the cabinet once the we get a good day to refinish that cabinet. So that'll be another series also. So we're going to go ahead and end this one. It's running a little long anyway, but maybe we'll catch a break fairly soon to get to work on that cabinet and that other. I've got another cabinet. Matter of fact, got 2 cabinets in line to get refinished. So if you like the video, click the like so that other folks can see it. But we'll probably start us another project and get another video or 2 out in the next few days. So I'm Larry from the hills of Tennessee. Thanks for watching.